Good people, here with you. It's the NFC Beast. Just want to reiterate, we're here for a good time, not a long time. So it's going to be fun. So this is your boy, Kane. I'm joined on my side by my man, Sam Shady. Sam, what's going on tonight?
It's another night in paradise, man. Ready to talk some NFC East. Best division in football once again.
Believe that. And below me, I have my man Martin.
What's good?
What's going on, Martin?
Hey, Saturday, I would say fun in the sun, but fun on the live streams and the internet, you know what I'm saying? Look at Scrub just making it in anywhere, but just dropping in. But I'm ready for this weekend. I'm ready for tomorrow.
Okay.
So I can get my misery over with.
See, man, you gotta believe.
Look, man.
Like Bo Dallas used to say, all you gotta do is believe.
I believe we'll lose. Sam, you see how I put that in there like that? He said I gotta believe, so I believe. I believe somebody need to be fired. I believe there ain't gonna be no trades on Monday. I believe we're gonna be in purgatory to the end of the season. Ron Rivera said there's 10 games left. Guess what? No, Scrub. You're not gonna psych me out like that. I don't care about no 11 weeks. I don't want to endure this pain every week. Because I want Ron Rivera fired like immediately. Even if I go to sleep tonight and I wake up and there's breaking news, Ron Rivera been fired before he could coach this game, I'll be happy.
You and Magic Johnson?
Shoot, I might need to. I might. If I had a red-eye jet, I'll fly right up there and me and Magic get it done. Look, Josh, you're gonna have to do something, buddy. You're gonna have to do something because this is not working for me.
So what do you as our transition point our first thing that we're going to do tonight, which is going to be the reviews of the games of last week. And I have a feeling that outcome might be part of why Martin feels the way that he does right now. I mean, just a thought, like I'm not in the mind of Martin, but just a thought, you know what I'm saying?
Is it bad? Is it bad if I say this right now? I want us to get the doors blown off us tomorrow because I want to see. I really want to see some firing tomorrow. I'm on Monday morning. I really want him fired.
Here's the thing, Martin.
I mean,
I understand that you feel like we have a bad lows that he might be gone, but you might go out there and lose by 30. He's still there. So then how you gonna feel?
Man,
there's no guarantee they're gonna fire him, bro.
Yeah, you're right. There ain't no guarantee.
Scrub says he would have fired Rivera at the end of last season.
I agree. Scrub know this because when we did our show last year, Scrub know this. I've been calling for Ron Rivera to be fired right after that tournament. He said the playoffs. I wanted him going in.
Yeah,
I was like, there's no way that you cannot know that your team not supposed to make the playoffs. Then you switch to quarterback on purpose just so your team can make the playoffs. Then you've been having bad drafts. Okay, yeah, we got okay players. I ain't say top players. We got okay players. But at the same time, we could have had. I put it this way. Cool, we talked about this a couple of days ago. When Ron Rivera got there, he should have did everything he in his possible to keep Trent Williams. Brandon Sheriff probably would have stayed. Morgan Moses would have still been there. Then you would have had to draft number a few other two starting offensive linemen, and then some backups in the next few years, and then still solidify the defense. You vested this whole 4 years into defense, not addressing the offensive line one time. Then you drag in the land of misfit toys from Carolina, in Kansas City, and then you say, okay, this is it. Then you don't draft no kind of linebacker. Jamin Davis ain't nobody. Then you sit in Jabril Cox there. You drafted Federa Mathis. He got hurt last year because he was supposed to be the placement for Daron Payne, but now he gets to play in the 3 lineman set if he's playing tomorrow. Then you finally activate Jabril Cox, and then because Cody's slow, he more slow than the other linebacker we had last year, and now we don't have no coverage linebacker. I'm watching everybody's team that has coverage linebacker, and we don't have any. We have linebackers that run around there like they part in the Red Sea.
So Scrub says the Commanders are like the Giants, a roster full of mid players. So we're going to use that as a segue, Martin, to go right into the first game we're going to review, which is the Giants versus the Commanders. So, Martin, I'm sure you have a few things you want to say in regards to that. So the floor is yours, sir.
Well, the thing about it is with that game is that you only scored 7 points because there was a muff punt. Then you let Tyron Taylor. He is probably the same age as me at this moment in time. That comes in there and just throw the ball down deep. Now he ran a little bit. It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt us as bad, but he made us play honest. Barkley was a non-factor, but then we got beat over the head for the long ball. Me personally, if you're struggling to score points when you was averaging almost 20-something points in the first few games, except for that Buffalo game, you played Philly the first time around all the way to overtime. But then you sit here, a Giants team that's depleted. If Daniel Jones had played, we probably would have gave up 200 yards rushing. We would have got destroyed. Giants would have beat us. And the thing about it is, there wouldn't have been no coming back from that. So you struggle not to put up points when you have talent on this team. I don't get it. I still trying to scratch my head on this one. Because with the defense keeping you in the game and you only score 7 points, that's enough to fire somebody too. You're not making no adjustments. Airbnb is supposed to be one of the hottest offensive coordinators out there, and you not being able to adjust. So we all claim for Airbnb in the off season. Now I'm starting to believe what Shady McCoy said. Sam Shady McCoy. You don't get it? So so I'm starting to look at some of that stuff. Why you haven't got an offensive? Why you haven't got a head coaching job? Why you had Barkley hit us for yak yardage, a yak touchdown, So it's just that when we play teams get up for us. It's like the Chicago Bulls, for instance. Teams get up to play the Chicago Bulls because teams know they're not good. So teams know that, we got talent, but our talent is being misused. It's being coached bad. So guess what happens? They come out there, they get right game. When you give the Chicago Bears a get right game on Thursday night and got beat to death, DJ Moore, 200-something yards? Come on, man. I'm surprised they ain't gave 200 yards or 170 yards to Jalen Wyatt out there. So I think this, to me, it's just going to be a matter of time when it's all said and done, it's all over with, and they can rebuild it up from the ground, trade whoever need to, get draft as much draft capital if you need to. At this point, I would trade probably I like to run. I like Allen. Allen is getting older. I would try to find a trade partner for him. He's frustrated. Montez looked like he's ready to leave. So I would just tear the whole thing up because right now, there's no way we're going to try to make the playoffs. I had hopes for us to make the playoffs, but when you lose to the Giants, you allow the Bears come in your home to destroy you. I don't mind getting beat down by Buffalo because I know what Buffalo is. I wouldn't mind to get beat down by the Eagles because I know what they is. Right now, to me, the Eagles are the class of the NFC right now. I had the 49ers won, but the 49ers has taken a step back. But the Eagles, regardless of what they have done, they still make trades. They still try to find a way to better their team, no matter what they got going on. We can't get right, so we just go out there, get our head beat in, and guess what? Ron Rivera comes to the podium, sing the same song over and over again. It's getting old. Like we dealt with Daniel Snyder, he's gone, but he left his spawns there. So, I mean, it's what it is, man. I mean, I can't defend it anymore. I mean, I tried to be optimistic about it, but knowing that we should have a game that we should have won last week, it just tells me that they not trying to win games at all. They in games to make it look good, like we have a chance. But guess what? We ain't gonna win.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are the ramblings of an angry Commanders fan. So,
oh my God,
Sam, any thoughts on the game? Because Martin is 5% the game, 95% my team is trash.
I'm actually kind of surprised by his reaction to everything. I mean, yes, this game was terrible. It was not a game that you would be proud of in any stretch. And yes, the adjustments on offense are very concerning, especially on third down in particular. Washington has been terrible this season, which was never an issue with Kansas City when Bieniemy was there. So that was kind of an area I expected them to improve in. But honestly, I'm kind of surprised to hear your reaction because I actually think Washington's closer to being competitive than it sounds like you do. I mean, I think a big issue that's slowing them down and affecting them right now is their offensive line woes. I mean, you give up 40 sacks in 7 games, and I mean, you're basically asking to be losing in every game. And I honestly think that if they spend a little draft capital and swung some trades at the left tackle and right tackle positions, I really think that you could see this team dramatically improve overnight, especially in the run game. I know I've primarily talked about sacks there, but I think there's a lot of talent on this offense, and I think it can really open up a lot of things for Bieniemy. And I think right now that his offense just simply isn't working because of the pressure all these other teams are getting. If you cleaned up that area, I really do think that Sam Howell has the talent to be a franchise quarterback, and he's shown it all season long. And you guys got a lot of weapons. I mean, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, all these different players, Robeson. I really think there's hope for Washington. I do agree that there needs to be a coaching change at the head coach position. Maybe you do put Bieniemy there, although it'd be hard to do that after this season. But definitely could understand that your concerns after this past week. But I still think Washington's closer to contention than it may look on paper after this week.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I agree with everything you say because that was my sentiment all along, is that the offensive line is so atrocious that Airbnb can't do anything. And so it makes everything look so bad, all the way around. And it just don't seem like they try, Ron Rivera, it seemed like he's not trying to find a way to fix. We shouldn't wait this late in the season to fix the offensive line. I felt like week 3 when Buffalo blitzed us, we had a chance to correct a lot of mistakes from that game. And then he kind of like worried about the defense part because we was giving up so much yardage on the defense. So you fix the defense a little bit, and then you fix the defense a little bit, and then you come back, you lose a game, get blown out. Then you come back against Atlanta, you make a little bit of adjustment. Then you play Philly. You could have won that game, And so it's just like it's hit or miss a little bit. So, and I think I posed this idea a while ago saying that, hey, maybe, just maybe, if Washington just move if they don't fire Ron Rivera, just take him from a head coach. Fire Jack Del Rio, allow Ron Rivera to run the defense. That's his specialty anyway. Let Eric Bieniemy step up into the intern head coach where he could have a little bit more say on the offense, where he could probably get more help, from the upper office or whatever. Now they got this, they just hired an analytics type dude, one of the top analytics dude. Maybe he could help him and say, well, hey, this is what you need for your offense to make it more a little bit fluent. This is how you could run. This is how you could get a little bit of stuff better. So stuff like that could help out. But this is what, week 8 now? Week 8. You shouldn't wait that long. That's half of the season. Then, and then what annoys me the most, I think, because of Ron Rivera, his comments, his nonchalant attitude towards the whole situation. Because you got guys on this team that really want to be here. They playing their butts off and they tired of losing. And then you not trying to, it's like you can't figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's my legitimate frustration of the team. It's just too much talent on this team to be wasted.
As you can see, Martin is not pleased with the Commanders right now. A couple of comments here. So we got Washington going to get smacked by Ben Holloway. What's up, Ben? Thanks for watching. After Eagles play like crap at home versus the Commanders. Scrub says, facts. Howell stay getting sacked. He holds the ball looking for the big play and takes too many sacks. That's the problem. That's going to fix itself with time. Rivera not going for 2 in Philly was one of the most horrible coaching decisions this year. And then Ben also says, go for the kill, avoid OT. Offense had a lot of momentum. They definitely should have gone for 2. So, let's see. Scrub had one thing to say here before I give my quick 2 cents. But how much can you fix the O-line from a personnel standpoint, even from week 3? The O-linemen just aren't sitting around waiting on the couch. So, a couple of things here. Chris chimes in. Chris, what's going on? He says, I think it'll be close. Then Chris also says, Brian Robinson about to go crazy. That's a negative. You clearly haven't looked at the stats, sir. That's the team in the league. Robinson's not going to go crazy. So, I'll say this. I know a lot of people say, oh, Rivera should have went for 2. Rivera not going for 2. You got to look at the numbers. Philly defense was giving up points, but they've always been really good on short down situations. 2 yards, 1 play. That's not the situation to win or lose the game you want to put yourself in. I think that was the right move. For me, the issue that the Commanders had was the Commanders, they gave Philly a lot of opportunities when Philly was not in that game. And then Philly did the same thing for the Commanders. And then we got to overtime, and the only reason that Philly won is because they got the ball first. That was 50-50 shots. Commanders got the ball first and they scored a touchdown. Overtime would have been over. We would be having a different conversation. We got to look at those things when we talk about, for me, for that specific, game. Now, overall in the season, I think Rivera hasn't been Riverboat Ron for sure. Like, there's no argument that we don't see Riverboat Ron there. That guy is not there. And maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. But when I look at the game, it just didn't seem like they wanted it. So, like, Rivera is too cavalier, and you have the enemy coming in being a disciplinarian type coach. Like, I'm getting in your face, I'm giving you the work. But he run to Rivera and say, I don't like I don't want to listen to that because I don't like that. You didn't do that to us before. Yeah. I feel like it's that type of situation, honestly.
Yeah.
I think you have a battle between the offensive coordinator who's trying to implement change and hold people accountable, and then you've got the holdovers, which most of those players are holdovers. They don't want that because that's not what they had before. But they sucked before too. So you don't want to do something different, but you want to be successful. So I think the problem is you're going to have to get rid of Rivera. You're going to have to remove him from the situation. Then you have versus the rest of the league once you have him out of the way. So Ben says, my logic is you are the lesser team overall roster. The Eagles definitely a better team on the you avoid OT. I understand that logic, Ben. My logic is you're the higher team, you just scored a touchdown. If you get the ball in OT, you can make sure you win. If you go for 2 and you miss it, you lose the game. Then what happens? Everybody's, Ron Rivera's a freaking idiot. He went for it on 4th down. He went for 2 when he could just went for 1 and tied it and play for overtime. He's an idiot. He should be fired today. Like, he was in a no-win situation, to be honest. And the way the Eagles were playing that game, they were playing down to Washington, even though they were a better squad. And instead of being able for the defense to hold and not even allow them to get a touchdown, we let them march right down the field and score.
Also, I think cool too. If they didn't call Terry out on that one play, I think Washington goes down the field and score and wins. I think that one play kind of like killed their momentum a little bit. It's just so much to impact with the Commanders right now because the leadership is bad.
You have to do that. You have to do that on a different show, sir, because we talk about it for 2 hours on here. Because there is a lot to unpack about the Commanders. I definitely agree.
What Scrub say? He said,
when do we just admit that Rivera is a perennial loser who just isn't fit to be a head coach? And then Ben says, I feel you, but that's coaching scared and opposite of Riverboat Ron. There is no Riverboat Ron in the Commanders. And to me, I don't think it's coaching scared. I think it's coaching, I'll play for overtime because I'm not expected to win this game anyway. So if I can get this ball first in overtime and score a touchdown, game's over. 50-50 play. To me, Washington should have been in that situation to begin with because the Eagles should have set on the ball, ran the clock, and the field goal. And then we don't even have this conversation. That's just me. That's where I put the blame on that game even being in that situation. And then Scrub says Washington did get the ball in OT and couldn't score. I don't think it was the wrong choice to keep the PAT. They just didn't get the job done. Yeah, they didn't score, so yeah. But if you get the ball first and you just went down and scored a touchdown, I think you have momentum and you have more confidence. And you see the Eagles on the board first. It's just that. But let's move on, guys, because Martin has had a chance to breathe out.
I'm good now.
Release some tension and some frustration.
I'm good.
Let's move on to the Eagles versus the Dolphins. All right, so Sam, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on that game?
I thought this game was really encouraging. After coming out of that Jets game with a loss, I was a little concerned. It seems like that was one of the games that I looked over, and maybe that's how the Eagles looked at it as well. With Zach Wilson starting, I really didn't think we had anything to worry about. Thought we would get enough pressure with that offensive line that Wilson wouldn't be able to be effective. But ultimately, I was wrong. We came out of that game with a loss, and I didn't really know what to think going into this Miami game. Miami's been very explosive this season. We saw them put up 70 against Denver. So I thought this game could turn into a shootout, and I really thought Miami had enough firepower on offense to run with our defense and run with our offense as well. So I was kind of encouraged because, honestly, I feel like this came out as a convincing win, and that was something that I didn't expect in this game. I expected it to be a lot closer, and coming out of this game, I have a lot more confidence in my team going forward, and I'm really excited to see this win. Hopefully it continues into next week because prior to this, I had a lot of confidence in the Eagles, but that Jets loss, man, that opened up a lot of questions for me because so far we've been able to overcome our flaws, but that was one game where we definitely succumbed to everything that we've kind of been doing wrong up to this point.
Yeah, I agree. Scrub says the Eagles need to run more plays from under center as opposed to shotgun. So I'm going to expand on that, Scrub. I would say the Eagles need to run the ball more. Run the freaking ball more, whether it's shotgun, whether it's I-form, whether it's trips, whether it's halfback, fullback, whether it's 21 personnel, 11 personnel, 10 personnel, 15 personnel, 30 personnel. You get what I'm saying. Whatever the formation, there needs to be more running the ball. And that's where the problem is with the Philadelphia Eagles. We haven't committed to the run game in a lot of these games that are closer. We've done really well in some, but not overall. So Scrub says the Dolphins are virtually the Phoenix Suns with Mike D'Antoni. Against us, they were. But we have to remember, when we're talking about this Dolphins game, we have to preface it by saying both of their starting corners were out. And on top of that, their best corner was on the IR. He's off now. So we have to preface by saying they were decrepit at the cornerback position in this game. So, but I'm still encouraged by how well our defense did. I knew that A.J. Brown should have a field day against second string cornerbacks. That should have been a problem, and that wasn't a problem. Still concerned about the run game, but I think overall the defense is coming along at a more rapid pace than the offense. But if you're going to win in the NFL, you have to have defense to be able to stop guys. Because if you can give up 45 points and score 40, you're still going to lose. So if you can make the stops when you need to, if you can hold teams to less touches, if you can make guys think about it when they come across the middle before they catch that ball, when you can go from being a donut hole in the middle to where people come across the middle and get dinosaur arms, T-Rex arms, that's what you want. So I think we're kind of headed there. I think our big pickup that we'll talk about when we talk about the preview for the game will help with that as well. Martin, did you have any thoughts on the Eagles Dolphins?
Oh, no. I mean, I just think that, like Sam said, that the Dolphins came in as like one of the most explosive games. I picked the Dolphins to win their division anyway because Buffalo don't look like they want to do anything. One minute they'll show up, and the next minute they don't. But for the Eagles is just, I think it's this year is different for what I've seen from them, but they kind of seem like they playing in the same mode a little bit. There's games that they do struggle in, but they do find ways to win. A couple of weeks ago when they played Tampa Bay, it was, Tampa Bay don't have a lot of offensive power, but you expect the Eagles to dominate that game, just get them all out the way. And then you kind of like let them hang around a little bit, even though they didn't win. Then you ran up into a Jets team that clearly shouldn't even have won that game, but give credit to the Jets. Their defense is really good. I think they probably have one of the best secondaries in the league, so that helped them out. And they just made plays when the Eagles didn't. And I think if Devon Achane, if he wasn't hurt for the Dolphins, I think it could have been a little different because he is that guy. Mostert is decent, but he's a little older now. He do have some speed, but he's not gonna hurt you like Achane is gonna do. And so the Dolphins was built on speed, and when they found a way to neutralize, when the Eagles did a good job of neutralizing Tyreek Hill a little bit, that kind of changed the plan for the Dolphins or what they want to do. And you kind of see that Mike McDaniel didn't have an answer. You know what I'm saying? So the Eagles did enough to win the game, but there's still I think there's some things they're the masters of the push tush. I mean, it's like you can't even, it's like a fluffy pillow. You just lay down there and just go to sleep. They master that. So, and that's the kind of like the bread and butter when they don't feel like it. Then AJ Brown is going to get his. He's what like the guy that he's like Megatron 2.0. You can't stop him. You know what I'm saying? The dude could run he could run slants, he could run deeps. So the Eagles, I think as the Eagles go into the second half of the season, they will find. Like I said, this game Sunday is a get right game. So they're going what they didn't do the first matchup, they definitely probably going to do it this matchup. And the Eagles, they definitely going to get hot as the season goes on. Because right now they a game and a half over San Francisco now. So they got the best division in the NFC. And I think that's what they're playing for. They know that they have to they got to keep ahead of everybody because Dallas still there, 49ers still there. Detroit, they play good ball, but they ain't gonna really be no threat down the stretch. They'll make a little noise. So, but for that game, man, I just think that the Eagles did whatever they did what they needed to do to win the game. Period.
And then Scrub says that too. They need to run more. I think from under center will be beneficial because you can use I-form and attack the defense with physicality. Rob says for Washington on offensive line, what about Taylor Moton?
Who?
You don't want to. I've been seeing too many teams run the ball out of shotgun, and defenses are keying in on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this. This is all you need to know about Taylor Moton. He's on the Carolina Panthers. Mine. That's all you need to know.
Okay, well, move on.
I've been seeing too many teams run the ball shotgun defensive key on that. And then Scrub also says, but the Commanders have played well against the Eagles recently. I agree. And it won't be an easy game for Philly. We'll get to my thoughts on that once we get to that. Martin's jumping a little ahead, but that's okay. Martin's a little upset right now, so we're going to let it roll. All right, so then we got the Cowboys versus Vikings recap. So I'll start this one off. I know why there's no Cowboys person on the show this week. I know why there's no Cowboys person on the show this week. Go ahead, Sam. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm not even quite sure how to follow that one, but honestly, yeah, the Cowboys have kind of fallen apart recently, and it's kind of interesting to watch. I mean, they almost lost to the Chargers. That's the Chargers. We all knew they were going to fumble away that win at the last second there, but yeah, it's amazing to see how everything's fallen for Cowboys as of late. I really thought that this was going to come down to Philadelphia and Dallas, that last matchup late in the season. But it's looking like right now we're able to pull away from them and San Francisco, which that bye week is going to be extremely crucial the way everybody's getting injured on our team this year. So hopefully this continues and, Dallas continues to slip back and we continue to take hold of the NFC.
I apologize about that, y'all. It was the Cowboys and Chargers that we should have been talking about because the Cowboys did have a bye week 7. So we should have just been going back and talking about their week 6 game because we talked about their bye last week. But pretty much the Cowboys got a dub. They had the week off last week, so my mistake there. They got a dub. They had the week off. And, they'll come back this coming week. We'll talk about that, and we'll see what we get from them. So my bad, y'all. All right. We'll move on to worst performance of the week for each team. The Cowboys were on the ball and they did lose the bye. That's true. So, yeah, that is true. But so we'll start. We'll just go around. I can start. It'll be fine. And we'll just talk about for each team the best and worst performance. So we'll start with the Giants. The best performance for the Giants, I'm going to say their defense. The worst performance was Saquon Barkley. He did not show up for that game. What do you guys, Sam?
Yeah. I mean, man, that's a tough game all the way around. That whole team didn't really show up. But, yeah, honestly, I would say as far as the best performance, I really like what Tyrod Taylor was able to do. Darren Waller also had a pretty solid performance. And I guess the worst performance of the day, I would have to go to that receiving group for the Giants. I mean, they literally they have nobody out there. It's kind of sad to see.
What you got, Martin?
The best performance, Sam took the one. Tyrod Taylor, I think what he has done for the Giants in the last 2 games showed a whole different dynamic of the Giants a little bit, even though they still can't do certain things. So I give him credit for, taking advantage of what Washington couldn't do. Worst performance, it has to be the Commanders, the offense.
No. So we talk about the Giants.
Oh, the Giants are worst performance for the Giants. I think you could say the receiving core. I mean, because Darren Waller did finally have a breakout game. He, but they still wasn't able they was not able to put up only about 14 points, against the Commanders.
So Scrub says that he would say special teams was the worst for the Giants. Saquon was bad in the 4th with the fumble, but specials were bad all day. He says best performance, he would say Dexter Lawrence. He dominated his matchup all day, and the defense fed off that. And then Scrub says we don't have a punt returner. Okay. I said this, Scrub, fumbles in the 4th quarter get you on my bad performance list every week. I don't care who you are. That's me. You know what I'm saying? But I feel where you're coming from. All right, and now we will go to the Commanders. So best and worst performance for the Commanders for week 7. So for best performance for the Commanders, it's kind of tough.
Hmm.
I guess the special teams for the scoop and score. I guess I got to give them the best
Mhm.
performance. For worst performance, I'm gonna go with Ron Rivera. This team was not prepared. This team didn't look like they came to play. They weren't motivated. The adjustments weren't being made. The offense and the defense looked like they were just in the flux all day. So I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with the guy that's supposed to make sure those things don't happen, and that's the no riverboat. That's the
Yeah.
houseboat Ron. Who you got?
In terms of the best performance, I'm actually going to go with kind of an off the wall answer, but I'm going to go with Sam Howell. I think the amount of pressure he faced in this game and for his performance, I thought was pretty admirable. And then for my worst performance, I'm going to go the other way with there, and I'm going to say it's the offensive line. I mean, they gave up 5 sacks, I believe it was, 2
Mhm.
sacks to Dexter Lawrence, so sack and a half to Kayvon Thibodeau. And then a couple scattered out throughout there. So I mean, ultimately they got to get something figured out, whether it's transitioning more of a quick passing game, more 3-step drops or something like that. Washington has got to get that figured out because, like I said before, they've got a lot of talent. You can get the ball in the hands of those playmakers quicker. Chances are you're going to find a lot more success.
Yeah.
What about you, Martin? I know you have some
Well,
strong thoughts on this, sir.
I mean, to me, the best performance is the defense. The defense hung in there. They gave Washington offense opportunities. Holding the Giants to 14 points. I mean, you have to. You got to tip your hat to the defense. Normally, the Giants had a explosive offense. It could probably been different. It could have been worse. But the defense did a part by trying to help the offense out. And the worst part is, no, it's still the offensive line. They're not good. Um, there's been photos of the offensive line just standing around watching Sam Howell get his head knocked off. Um, I mean, rather Sam Howell holds the ball long or he can't avoid sight, the offensive line just don't have is not good enough to develop. And I don't think they should allow Sam Howell to stay in shotgun. Give him like quick slants, get the ball out of his hand. They actually when we came back and played Denver, in that game, Sam Howell was getting the ball out of his hand quick. He didn't have to sit back in the pocket and try to look for the big play. And I think if they go back to doing that a little bit, it could help him a little bit more. But that's my best and worst for that game for the week.
Okay, you did better, Martin. I wasn't sure. I thought you said you were for a while. I didn't know. I didn't know. All
Yeah, I
right.
got to take my breaks off him a little bit.
I hear it. So Squirrel said, yeah, but there was a muff punt, and the coaching has been bad, though the Giants did block a field goal. So more specifically, the punt return unit for the Giants. And then he says, no one gets anything positive for the Commanders. Their performance on offense was sorry, outside of one short field touchdown, and the defense really only had the D line that was a plus. DBs and LBs were mid. Well, screw up. So you don't hold no punches tonight, sir. No punches held. All right, so we'll go with the Eagles. Um, Best and worst for week 7. So for the Eagles, best, I'm not going to cheat and go with the obvious answer. Someone else might do it, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say Jalen Carter.
Mm.
I like the dominance. I like the way he attacks. I like the way he's just a problem. He's just what you would call a problem. His nature just be the problem. He's the problem, Jalen Carter. Like he always just disrupts everything. Run, pass. He's by the quarterback. He makes it uncomfortable. We saw in week 6 when he didn't play. We
Mm-hmm.
saw the difference. So I'm gonna go with Jalen Carter. And then for my worst performance, I am going to go with Brian Johnson in that play call. That's my worst performance. Got to perform better, OC. We need more.
I think for best performance, I'm going to go with Josh Sweat. I've always been a big fan of Josh Sweat and what he can do on the field. I think he's an amazing athlete. Occasionally, we see games where he can be really, really dominant, and this was one of those games where he had 2 sacks. Just amazing first step, but ultimately, it just unfortunately hasn't come together as a complete package quite yet. We'll see how things go the rest of the way for him. And then on defense, as far as the worst performance, I think I have to go to Kenneth Gainwell. I don't know why they continue to force feed Kenneth Gainwell in this offense because his performance is very, very lackluster every time he gets the ball. This week he averaged 2 yards a carry, and they continue to give him the ball. I know he's a very, very solid receiver. Throw him in the slot and throw him the ball then. You do not have to hand him the ball, especially in short yardage situations. What are you doing, Brian Johnson? Please, for the love of God, stop giving Kenneth Gainwell the ball in short yardage situations. It is driving.
In the red zone, period.
Seriously. That's like on day one, coaching 101, they teach you do not run a back under 200 pounds in the red zone. Don't do it. It's literally the most incomprehensibly stupid thing you could possibly do, and we continue to see it every week. It drives me nuts, as you can tell. But we have Rashad Penny. Where is he? Get him on the field. Let him run the ball. Use him specifically in the red zone, short yardage situations. That's why we're paying him. So get him involved. But anyway, Martin.
Oh, my good is AJ Brown. The dude does it all. He doesn't. Jalen finds him when he needs him. It's almost like you having a Travis Kelce out there. It's just like you know where he's going to be. He splits double teams. They too small. He just pushes guys. He's big. So my good is him. He's starting to catch fire now. For the last few games, the first beginning of the season, he was kind of quiet. Now he's starting to get in a rhythm, and and they looking for him a little bit more. My bad is that you got to run the ball, man. Like y'all just alluded to, Gainwell too small. Don't use Hurts so much to run the ball. Find the other options. Use Swift a little bit more. He's a little bit quicker. He could get out. He could get in between and outside, and that's what y'all brought him there for, to run the ball. And then I think Jalen is a little bit banged up a little bit, so you don't want to rely on him too much of running the ball because you don't want him to miss any time, and that could be really detrimental to the Eagles' run back to the Super Bowl.
All right, and then Scrub says the NFC Beast will put it all on the table. AP in the building. What up, AP? Both Sweats, Washington, and Eagles are sleepers. They're underrated.
I like that.
I can live with that.
Sweat.
The line for the Eagles was the top positive, and the worst would go to the HC and OC. They may be the banana in the tailpipe for the Eagles' Super Bowl chances. And then AP says, cool that you find that background today, laugh out loud. Actually, AP, if you done seen me on other shows this week, and you know I had it earlier this week, stop capping. Stop capping, AP. I just flipped it around. So I just flipped it around. Did something a little different. All right, so we'll go into our previews for this coming week. So we'll start with the Giants versus the Jets. All right, Martin, we'll start with you with this one. Who do you think wins this game and why?
I'll go with the Jets, man, because they have a defense. You're not gonna ask. Oh God, I forgot the boy name now. The quarterback.
I call him
Zach Wilson.
Hunter.
Yeah, you're not gonna ask him to do much, and he has a plus. You know what I'm saying? Because he has Aaron Rodgers over there, so he's being coached double time, not to make mistakes. He's like I won't say a game manager. He's just like a facilitator. As long as he gets the ball to the guys that he needs to get the ball to, rely on the running game, they're going to be fine. I think that now, granted, the Jets offensive line is not good either. You know what I'm saying? But I think they hold up just enough. But I think their defense is going to get the win for them because they have a great secondary. And, they showed that against the Eagles. Um, they did beat Kansas City, right? Yeah, they beat Kansas City. Or no, I
No,
think they did. No, they did. It was close. But still, I think the Jets will pull this one out. They more of a favorite in New York than the Giants are. So two New York teams playing against each other. My edge go to the Jets.
you got Sam.
I'd have to go with the Jets in this one as well. You look at what they've done the past two games, and Zach Wilson has basically done the bare minimum a quarterback can do to get them a win. And this team just wills them to a win every week because they're just simply that talented. Zach Wilson hasn't thrown for over 200 yards in like 3 weeks, and they still are on a 2-game win streak. So, I mean, honestly, I expect it to be a lot of the same. I mean, the Giants' offense isn't very scary, so I expect the Jets to run the ball all game long. This Jets defense is going to shut down the Giants' offense, and I expect it to be probably a really low-scoring game. It wouldn't shock me at all if we see another 14-7 type game like we did with the Giants and Commanders last week.
So Scrub says the Blue Bums versus the Gross Green. I'll take the Blue Bums, but it's only because I put money on this game before the season started. AP says it's going to be a battle of the defense. Both offenses bad. This is also true. I think the Jets could run the ball a little better, but that's a fair point. Scrub Zero says the Milf Hunter is still trash. Don't try to cap for him. Scrub says basically the team who makes the first big mistake will lose the game. And Scrub says Zach Wilson is literally not just not screwing the game up. These are all fair points. I would say the Jets just because I feel like their defense is more dominant on the back side. I think it'll be a close game. It'll probably be 15 to 12 or something, a whole bunch of field goals. Somebody may get loose and score a touchdown, but if you score a touchdown, this game you're gonna win. Whoever scores a touchdown is gonna win. But I think the Jets have a better possibility of getting that touchdown. So that's why I'm going to pick them to win. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants find a way to stumble into something good and win the game as well. So, I mean, it just takes one guy that makes a bad play, and that's who's going to win. All right. And then Williams Hugo 28 says, "What up, NFC Beast? I hope you guys are having a great night and getting hyped for the deadline." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hoping some more moves happen. Scrub says the one thing the Blue Bums have going for them is that they're starting to play better on offense and defense. Couldn't be worse. He says Daniel Jones playing that will determine the game. You're wrong for that. He's wrong for that. But hey, he's wrong, but he's not wrong. You feel me? He's wrong, but he's right. So let's move on here to the Eagles versus the Commanders. We're going to let Martin go first.
Well, thank you so kindly.
You're welcome.
Well, we did this on Monday, so no, we did this on Thursday. Yeah, no, man, it's been a rough week for me, for real. To be honest with you, I expect the Eagles to. I don't know. I think the Eagles know that the Commanders is probably, to me, I feel like the Commanders is the only team in the NFC that plays them really, really tough. Going back to last year, nobody expected for the Commanders to have a shot to kill their undefeated streak on a Monday night, but we did. Then we turn around and played them at home close in overtime that potentially we could have won that game, had a shot to win the game. Rather, this time around, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I think if AJ Brown has a game like he did the first time, this game could get out of hand early. Especially, and I think the Eagles is going to try to put it away like the first quarter, around the first, midway through the first and second quarter. Stop laughing, cool.
They'll put it away in the first quarter.
I mean, I think they will. I mean, I think the Eagles know that they can't play
Oh
around
my
with
gosh.
them, and I think, and honestly, what Wink Martindale did to the Commanders' offensive line, blitz every. I see the same thing that the Eagles going to do. It's going to be bad. It's not going to be pretty. This game could be over in the first quarter. So, I am not wavering my pick. My pick gonna stay with the Eagles in this one.
I will take it. Sam, what you got?
Eagles by 1,000,000. No, I'm just kidding. No, I actually think this game's going to be closer than everybody's making it out to be. The Washington Commanders have played the Eagles tight the last couple times we've faced them, dating back to last season. So I expect this to be another tight game. I do expect them to give us a run for our money. I do expect the Eagles to get a win, but I don't really expect it to be a blowout by any stretch. Absolute maximum, I could see us winning by 10 points, and that would be even slightly kind of surprising to me. So that's just me personally. I know that these interdivision games for us always end up being tough, especially with Washington in particular. I know they've had their struggles, but look back at the last game, they gave us a run for our money in that one as well. So definitely expecting this to be a really good game, really fun to watch, and ultimately it'll be great when the Eagles come out with a 6-1 record.
Sam stole my answer. So I'm just gonna say, I mean, I agree with Sam. I don't think that we're going to go out and crush them because I just don't feel like we do that, right? I feel like everybody says, "Oh yeah, the Eagles, the Commanders just lost to the Giants. The Eagles are gonna crush them. It's gonna be 45-2." It's like, no, it's not. It's not. Like, we're gonna make some mistakes. Bayard's gonna have to get acclimated to the system, so he's gonna be out of position a little bit. It happens every time you get a new player in the middle of the season, right? He didn't have an off season. He didn't have but a week of practice to really get acclimated with the system. So there's going to be some issues. There's going to be some things that are going to have to get worked out. And we're not calling a great game, right? We're not calling a great game. The Eagles are not calling a great game. So if we're not going to call a game to really put you away, which I haven't seen us do to anybody all year, I don't think we're going to put you away early, definitely. But I think we're going to have a close competitive game. I feel like the Eagles are going to find a way to get a couple of touchdowns somewhere, lump some points together to try to get ahead. And if the defense can hold and stay ahead, then I feel good about a win. But I don't feel in any way, shape, or form that this is going to be an easy win for the Philadelphia Eagles. NFC Beast games are hard, and like Sam said, no, Martin doesn't agree with this, but we play each other. Those have been some difficult games lately for us. Even though we've been the better team on paper, we were the better team than the Giants on paper. I mean, the Jets on paper. We still have there. So I'm not buying until I see the clock go down to 0 and we have more points. But I think it's going to be tough, and hopefully we'll win this game. All right, and Scrub says, though, that's not saying much considering how bad they were throughout the season prior to the last 2 games. Talking about the Giants still. Scrub says Jones was ruled out Friday. Tyrod will start. He also says, just be glad I'm not up there. I would make it worse for you, Loud Fire.
Yeah.
Then Williams Hugo 28 says, remember, if you have a struggling offense, all you need to do is play Washington to get right. Wow. Scrub says he got the Eagles by 8. So Anthony says you taking the spread +7. And then Scrub says, I wish the Blue Bums could play as well as the Commanders do versus the Eagles.
Yes, I'm taking the spread. It's definitely going to be less than 7 points, I would expect.
If I was betting, I would bet the Commanders +7. I would take that.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we'll probably win by 8 or 9 just because I did that. But yeah, that's what I would take.
Just a real quick stat for everybody watching. I believe the Eagles have only had 2 games decided by more than 9 points this season, and they've had 4 of those games decided by 6 points or less. So we're not really blowing teams out. We did against Tampa Bay. We beat them by 2 touchdowns, and we beat Miami by 2 touchdowns. But again, none of these games have been blowouts. So I'm not quite sure where all this confidence is coming from
They're
I
looking
guess.
at they're looking at the record and they're looking at last week, Sam. That's where it's coming from.
Exactly, and it seems like it's people who are not really Eagles fans per se that are all confident about the team right now, because the rest of us who have been, you know, watching the games, the entire games, we've seen the flaws, we've seen the team's cracks. They're not perfect by any stretch.
Let me ask each one of y'all a question. Y'all can both answer this in different opinion. The way the Eagles playing and all their games has been close, you know, some of the games they could have probably have lost also. Does it have that Minnesota Vikings vibe from last year when Minnesota was winning them close games and should have lost?
Nope. Sure does not.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say no on that one, because I think the Eagles should be winning these games. I think we're the ones shooting ourselves in the foot to make it closer than it should be.
Okay. Yes. Just a thought, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Scrub says none of the teams in the NFL scare me. All of them have flaws that can be exploited. None of the teams in the NFL scare me either, sir. So we'll go to our last of matchups here.
My coaching staff scares me.
My offensive coordinator scares me too. Cowboys versus Rams. So Cowboys versus Rams. I'll simply say I don't think the Rams are going to have enough on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to put up some points, but I don't think they're going to have enough on the defensive side of the ball to stop the Cowboys, because the Cowboys, when they play teams that don't have great corner play, don't have great safety play, they tend to eat. And we know the Rams don't have these things. So it tends to be a game where you're going to see Dak Prescott look good. You're going to see more Cowboys fans in the groups with us Eagles fans talking trash about how many interceptions Jalen Hurts throws. And, you know, it's fair, the actual number, but how many of them result in losses? Clearly, only one game of them did. So there's something to think about. What do you guys say?
I really don't have any thoughts on that one. I apologize.
So Scrub says, before you go, Martin, we knew the Vikings were suspect last season. They proved it in the playoff game. AP says, I know a question. Why are the Eagles signing everybody? Are you really trying to buy a ring? No, we're trying to shore up the holes that we have from what should have been done in the offseason that wasn't done.
But signing everybody? Like, we made one trade. I'm kind of confused where that thought is coming from.
We signed Julio Jones.
Well, you know.
I mean, he's about 85 years old.
Exactly. You're talking about our wide receiver 4? Okay.
Scrub says, I'll take the Yams. Something tells me they're going to trip on their face, and the Cowboys fans will go back to blaming Dak Prescott. You know what, Scrub? I like your take. I would not be upset if your take comes true. We won't have a Dallas fan next week either if that take does come true. Scrub does say, seriously, why did the Eagles get Julio Jones? I don't see how he helped y'all. So I'll answer that question. I'll let Martin go first, and then I'll answer that question. If you saw the show 2 weeks ago, you heard me say that was the guy that we needed, and we went out and got him. They're watching me. All right, Martin, go ahead with your thoughts on the Rams-Cowboys game.
Before Scrub had posted his comment, I actually gonna pick the Rams as an upset, because I think Dallas is that kind of team that they managed to beat the Chargers, which I think the Chargers should have won. Chargers shoot themselves in the foot. I think Dallas going to have trouble defending Cooper Kupp and Nuka. I think Nuka is like the hottest receiver in the league right now, and Matthew Stafford knows how to use him. I just don't know how well the offensive line is going to hold up, or they find a way to neutralize Michael Parsons. If they find a way to neutralize Michael Parsons and not let him get there to rattle Matthew Stafford, and he had time, and he find Cooper Kupp or Nuka, I don't think Dallas wins this game because I think they're gonna put it in Dak's hands and he's going to make some mistakes. Whether the Rams have a good secondary or not, he's that kind of guy. He will throw you a bone without you asking for it. So I'm going with the upset. I'm going with the Rams.
All right. And to answer the question, I'll tell you why I said we need Julio Jones. We need a guy who can come in, knows how to play, knows how to help those guys correct small flaws in their route running, in their turns, their cuts, their body positioning, their hips, things like that. A guy that has that it factor that you're going to listen to, right? Any of the receivers on the Philadelphia Eagles, if Julio comes and you say, hey, man, let me holler at you for a minute, you go on and you listen, and you're implementing what he tells you because he brings that value to the team. Also, you get an injury. You get a game where you really don't need the guys, some of your main players may not need to play as much. You just need somebody to kind of get in and play. Julio's good for that. You know where else Julio can help the Philadelphia Eagles at? A place where we struggle quite a bit. It's called the red zone. So there's reasons why Julio's in Philadelphia. There were all the reasons why I said that he was the free agent that I wanted us to go sign, and we did, because he fills some gaps for us. Would you rather have Julio Jones on the field if you're an Eagles fan, or you'd like to see the Eagles succeed? Or would you rather have Quez Watkins? You tell me. 10 times out of 10, 11 times out of 10, 15 times out of 10, I'm going with Julio Jones. Because if you need him to show up for a half or a game and be that Julio that he used to be to some extent, he can still do that. He can't do it every week, but he can show up for a game or two and be that guy if you need it. Quez Watkins has never been that guy. He never will. So Olamide Zaccheaus should already be the number 3. He is now, but it is what it is. All right, and then a couple more comments here. We'll slide into. So Rob says Kyron Williams will run wild in this game. What up, Rob? And then Scrub says wall chargers are full of choke artists. Someone had to win between them and the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. And then Rod, uncensored, Rod himself, the Eagles troll, says, what's up, fellas? Commanders for the upset. And then, of course, Patriots for the upset. We won't even touch that. Scrub says, I personally don't see it with Julio. I think he's too long in the tooth, but hey, I could be wrong. So the problem is everybody is seeing and saying, oh, Julio Jones, if you had him 5 years ago, that would have been a great pickup, because we don't need him to go out and be a starting wide receiver. We've got 2 studs, Smitty and Swole Batman. Those 2 dudes got 1 and 2 held locked down. That's never been an issue since they've both been together. The problem is 3 and 4. You want to go 4 wide receivers? We haven't been able to put 4 quality guys out there that you can throw the ball to any of them, whoever's open, and just read and react and not have to say, who is it that I'm throwing to? Now we can do that. That's where Julio makes a difference. As the 3rd or 4th receiver, as a guy that may get 2 or 3 catches a game, may get 5 in one game if he's left open, but he's not going to drop the ball. He's going to run his routes, and he understands how to get open and get in the right places. And in the red zone, he'll get the ball. That's where he makes a difference. We're not asking Julio to come in and be a starter. We're not asking him to come in and be the Julio from 5 years ago. We're just asking him to be a veteran wide receiver who can catch the freaking ball and keep the other guys in the game. That's it.
100%.
Perfect for that.
We might need him for, I like what you said about 1 to 2 catches a game, but when he comes in like, say, a playoff game, which is why I really think he's here, he's going to make that 1 clutch catch, and we'll all be talking about how smart of a move it was to take in Julio. And for the record, I came on this show and many others to say that I was not a fan of the move overall, because I'm not. But at the end of the day, there are some merits as to why you bring in a Julio Jones on a very capable playoff team. You're bringing him in for those clutch moments that he's going to have throughout the season when it really matters.
And then especially short 3rd down catches.
Playoffs.
Exactly.
So Scrub says, I'm not saying he needs to start. I just don't think he's helping where you're hurting, really. Well, that's because You see AJ with 125 yards a game. You see Smitty. You see Dallas Goedert get his yards and all that stuff. But and I don't expect you to. You don't sit down and watch every game. You don't rewatch the games. You don't see the missed opportunities. You don't see where if you had a guy that could make some of those plays, that it would help the team. It's not about you disagreeing, man, because you're disagreeing basically that we needed to upgrade our fourth wide receiver. We got Quez Watkins out, who shouldn't be a top 4 wide receiver on the team, definitely not top 3. And the guys that we had were not better than Julio Jones as a number 4 receiver. He didn't cost us anything but a little bit of money. Didn't have to trade for him. We signed him right off the street. It's a great pickup. If anybody who doesn't agree with it, you can have your opinion. But when you see what I'm talking about, just remember, I told you and acknowledge me.
All right, Roman Reigns.
So before we finish for the night, do you guys have any non-NFC Beast topics that you would like to discuss?
No, I don't know.
All right, because I'm about to say, Mark, you know the Commanders are NFC Beast that we've already talked about them.
No, I'm done with them. I'm done with them.
I mean, it's still NFC Beast related, but I kind of wanted to dive into this Kevin Byard trade a little bit, if I could. I think a lot of people are seeing that the Kevin Byard trade's a really good move on the surface, just based on statistics alone. But if you dive a little bit deeper in this, Kevin Byard might actually be on his way to a career year this season after moving over to the Eagles. One of the reasons why is if you look back at his 3 best seasons over the past over his career, he played more as a deep single high safety and as a quarterback, whether in the slot or out wide, than he did in any other years. 2017, 2018, and 2021 were his 3 best seasons, and he played 68% or more of the snaps in those 2 positions. Before we traded for Byard, we got rid of Edmonds, who was playing 76% of his snaps in those 2 positions. So basically, we're bringing in Byard, and we are putting him exactly where he needs to be successful. And it's going to be in a situation where he's asked to play with 2 of the best outside cornerbacks that he's ever had in his entire career. So he can truly focus on what he needs to do and not worry about a weakness in the defense alongside him. So I honestly think that we might see him have the best season of his career, which is saying a lot because this is a guy who once had 8 interceptions, So definitely super excited about that addition to our defense. I think that addresses a lot more than just that one position, and it really shores up a lot of different things on this defense that I think are going to pay off in a big, big way down the stretch.
So Scrub says, I see y'all need to run the ball more, and that would be more beneficial than necessarily picking up Julio. I admit I'm wrong if it shows. So I'm glad you brought up running the ball, because I left that because I knew someone would bring it up. Who would you rather have trying to block on a run play? Julio Jones, Quez Watkins, or Devontae Smith? If you have any answer besides Julio Jones, I don't even know what to tell you. I just don't. So you got to think about there's more than just catching the ball. You talk about running the ball more. I'm going to be honest. I've seen Devontae Smith try to block for a run play. And that man will give all he's got, but he only has a little bit. That's a little fella.
He's what, 175 pounds soaking wet?
He's what my mom would call light in the pants.
Yeah, 100%.
So for that, you got to get another guy, right? So that's just my thoughts. He does help there as well. I definitely wanted to say that because I just want to bring it up. So Anthony Price says Bo Nix Heisman. We'll see. Still some time. There's still a guy who beat up on USC. I think is the front runner if I'm picky. Scrub Zero says there's only one team that qualifies as a beast in this division this year. The rest are mid or sorry. And then my boy Bobby with the Beantown breakdown. Bobby, what's up? And then Scrub says, gotcha, with the laughing emojis. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be ending things here. Make sure you check out Shady Sports Network. Make sure you check out Livewire Sports. You can find them on YouTube. Make sure you check out Couch Coach Live. Make sure you check out Eagles Elite Podcast. Make sure you check out Play Caller Sports Talk. Make sure you check out BS3's other shows. It's a lot of content creators here. There's a lot of content that's being made from the guys here and the guys on the networks that we're a part of and guys that we know. So make sure you're checking out all those places. And we'll see you back next week. And with that, the Beast is out for the week. And I don't care what the records say, we still the Beast. Let's go.